I'm getting so sick and tired of this Shedeur Sanders hate. The Shedeur Sanders hate is out of control. And I've been saying this for weeks now. I've been saying this hardcore for weeks now. We hammered it home yesterday. We hammered it home the day before. The Shedeur hate is out of control. And it is affecting his value. Let's not pretend that the negativity driven by this BS media and fake Mickey Mouse news reporters, and I have a source, trust me, bro. People aren't even citing sources anymore. There's no trust me, bro source. It's just, I'm a news aggregate. I'm a Mickey Mouse content creator, and I'm going to talk about Shedeur like I have something to say. And we finally have some people in the industry, Kyle Brandt, one of them, following my lead, me not following him. He's joining this train of defending Shedeur Sanders. It's getting out of control. It's affecting his value. And people and teams are fickle and they'll listen to it. And all it takes is the one or two potential dance partners, because not everybody needs a quarterback. One or two of these dance partners to not want to draft him based on the negative buzz they're hearing, and his value tanks. Is he falling? Is he really falling in the draft? Could he fall at around 1? The answer is he could, because people are morons. And they continue to perpetuate this narrative that Shedeur Sanders is a bad kid, an arrogant kid, not good. And it's getting out of control. And we're here to break it down and put the foot down and talk about it. And finally, some people are speaking out. We'll go over all the negatives. Diana Rossini's at it again. I'm trying not to tear her content down, but she continues to suggest that she has these sources and talks about George Kittle yesterday as if she's got some lead in line. Hey, let's rush this information out to Diana Rossini and Chase Daniels, said no one ever. Oh, we've got a hot news topic. Do we get it to Schefter? Do we get it to Ian Rappaport? Oh, I got an idea. Let's send it to Diana Rossini. Talking out of turn on Kittle again. And Kittle set her straight. Smoke season in full effect. But smoke season is turning into Pinocchio season. All these Pinocchio, that's the new term we're going to use. These Pinocchio content creators and Pinocchio news aggregates are getting out of hand. Smoke is one thing. Smoke was when a team lit a little fire, let some smoke up, misdirection, come over here, draft that player. That was the original smoke season. Now we're in Pinocchio season, mixed with smoke season. The fantasy football show, the Trey Henderson being talked about as a potential KC chief target. What would that mean? Whole bunch of news. Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty. We're going over it all. The fantasy football show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So let's start off with this Shedeur Sanders garbage. And it's insane. It's insane. We talk about it every single day. Finally, some guys like Kyle Brandt are following our lead. Okay, Shedeur Sanders' draft stock is tanking. And just a couple of weeks ago, Sanders was favored to be drafted as a top 5 player. Now the odds are, and these are the Vegas odds, the odds are being taken within the first 10 picks are plus 330 and rising. There's even speculation he could fall out of round 1. And it's news reports like this, and this is based on some fact that the odds are dropping, but this perpetuates the situation, of course. And so these just add up one by one by one. Kyle Brandt, again, finally saying what I've been saying for weeks and weeks now. Finally, someone coming out and saying something. He says, shut up, anonymous coach. Because an anonymous coach came out and had some very negative things to say about Shedeur, saying that Shedeur isn't even that good, that it was the worst in-person interview he's ever been a part of, and he stays anonymous because he doesn't want to show his little tiny face, because he's probably no good at his job. And Kyle Brandt went crazy on this topic like I have been for weeks, and thank God there's somebody else fighting for Shedeur Sanders, who did nothing wrong. He's a good kid. He's got good character. He's not an arrogant prick like everybody's seeming to suggest he is. That his interviews, he's arrogant. People are trying to drop his value, maybe to trade him as the anonymous source connected to a team that might want to draft him later. What's going on here? Anonymous? Why you gotta be anonymous? Why are you hiding like a little tiny baby? Because you're not bold enough, strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet or to come out here and tell us who you are. Why are you anonymous? Why are you hiding in the shadows? Why are you crying like a little baby in the corner as you don't want the world to know who you are? If you're anonymous, you mean nothing to me. If you're anonymous, your report means nothing to me. If you're anonymous, I could give 2 craps about what you say. And so stop going out there and tearing down Shedeur Sanders because you're too afraid to come out and say who you are. So go cry in your corner. And this is what Kyle Brandt kind of said. I said it harsher than him, but Kyle Brandt is upset. I'm upset. A few real ones are upset because we know what time it is. He's got a lot of potential. You haven't even scratched the surface for how good this kid could be if he's in the right situation. And let me tell you this. The people that are trying to tear him down, it will backfire in your face. If he falls and falls and falls, and he falls into the scenario we've been painting for about a week or 2 now, maybe back into the hands of the Cleveland Browns, who take Travis Hunter at number 2, then trade into the middle of round 1 or the bottom of round 1 to merge and cross streams again to put Shedeur and Travis Hunter on the same team in Cleveland. Did I say Chicago? In Cleveland. Cleveland takes Hunter at 2. Cleveland trades into 1. Or if he falls out of round 1, which he could because of this stupid conversation people keep throwing out there and just recycling it, regurgitating it, then the Cleveland Browns are going to win the draft. So let him fall. Let him fall, I dare you. I dare you. Keep doubting him, I dare you. Why are you doubting him? Because you once said that he was bad. And now you got to stick to your guns like everybody else, just digging a hole continuously. We've done this song and dance before, and we're going to continue to do it until this thing plays out. Now, there's a world where he goes to a bad spot. That is always a possibility for any of these quarterbacks. Smitty is not standing here saying he's going to be the absolute best quarterback to ever live. Smitty's not standing here saying he's even going to be a top 5, top 4 quarterback ever in the future. Smitty's not even standing here telling you that he's a lock to be a top 10 quarterback. What I'm telling you is he has a shot, a real good shot at being a top 7 to 14 quarterback. Big wide range there in the NFL if he's in the right spot. Is he in the right spot? I don't know. The more he falls, the more right that spot might be, and it backfires on everybody. It puts a chip on this kid's shoulder so big that he comes for everybody. Just like a lot of other quarterbacks have used that chip on their shoulder. Jalen Hurts has been living with a chip for a while on his shoulder. So many quarterbacks, players, Tom Brady, so many quarterbacks. Kurt Warner, undrafted. No team wanted him. They even made a team as an undrafted free agent, got cut, came back. Vermeil hired him. Chips on shoulders make ballers. And he just might be a straight-up baller at the next level. We don't know. I know it's possible. I don't know it's a guarantee. I know it's possible. Keep doubting him all you want. I could give 2 craps, and I'm just here to watch it all blow up in the people's faces that are running this narrative out there, this Mickey Mouse narrative, you Pinocchio news creators. And Peter Schrager believes the Steelers don't like Shedeur Sanders. Well, good for you, Peter. I don't care about that report either. You don't know. You don't know. You're too busy moving networks. You haven't even paid attention. This report here, a Giants assistant called a few college coaches today, or this guy called a few college coaches today that played with Shedeur. Got an interesting response from Nebraska Matt Rule, who said he feels like Sanders would thrive in New York in the spotlight. I would take him number 3 overall without question. There are people on his side. Hopefully the Giants are on his side because it's a great landing spot. You give Dable this guy to work with, this type of potential player to sculpt and mold, you're going to have a potential star on your hands. I hope that Dable does push for this marriage between Shedeur and the New York Giants. throwing to Malik Neighbors with Ryan Dable as your potential coach, hopefully he stays and everything goes good. It's going to be great for the development of Shedeur. But I got to tell you, I don't know that it's a possibility anymore. I don't know that we're sitting in a situation where his value isn't truly tanking by the hands of these Mickey Mouse and Pinocchio news sources and aggregates and talking heads and mumble jumbo. I don't know anybody. Again, like Diana Rossini running some of these things out. We're going to talk about her report in Kittle. And I'm not saying I know what is right or wrong. I'm not trying to suggest she doesn't have sources. Truly, I don't know. All I know is the way I feel, and the way I feel is breaking news. Oh, yes, let's get this out to, let's see, we could get it to Schefter, we could get it to Rappaport, we could get it to some of the other guys at ESPN, we could get it to even Mina Kimes. Oh, no, let's send it over to Diana Rossini. Said nobody probably ever. Said nobody probably ever. Who even is Diana Rossini? No offense, Diana, but what are you doing? It feels like you're making stuff up. That's my opinion. I don't know if you are. I don't know if you aren't. All I know is you're saying things and players shoot you down and say you're wrong immediately. We'll get to the George Kittle, Diana Rossini thing in a second. But Diana Rossini's been all over the news today just making predictions left and right. Shedeur Sanders at 9 is not an overvalued pick because he's a quarterback. And there's more people going to bat for Shedeur. And I believe that there is still some good vibes out there. I just don't know. Like I said, when you're dealing with 1 or 2 or potential 3 dancing partners, you just don't know if this talk and the rumors and sometimes it's the team going, well, wait a minute. We like Shedeur. We would take a 9, but it sounds like he's falling. Let's let him fall more. And it perpetuates the narrative and the value of the player dropping. And this poor kid's values tanking because people want to make up stuff about him and try and get clicks and views. And unfortunately, it's steamrolling. It's snowballing. It's snowballing into something bigger, and it's not true. Is there risk with him? Sure. There's risk with Cam Ward. There's risk with all the quarterbacks that get taken. Josh Rosen, Johnny Manziel, Ryan Leaf, Dwayne Haskins, Danny Dimes, Jalen Hurts later, Brock Purdy. There's risk everywhere. Of course there's risk. No one's saying he's a lock. He could go to a spot where he just doesn't develop. I'm not putting my name on the line and saying no matter what he's balling, but I can tell you that the fundamentals are absolutely there. And the people that suggest they're not, that he's not a first rounder, are the same Mickey Mouse people and Donald Duck creators that came in here and said Penix Jr. isn't a first-round pick. Oh, he's not a first-round pick. I said he's top 10. He went top 10, and we did it live like we always do.
Let him cook.
I'm so sick and tired of a lot of the nonsense that goes on during this time of year. I love this time of year. Don't get me wrong. I might sound heated, and I am, but I love it. I'm heated, but I love it. I live it. I love it. I breathe it. Even the negative stuff fuels me to come in here and set it straight. If someone thinks that I need to calm down, or Smitty, just relax, don't let it bother you, it's not bothering me. It's fueling me. This is how I feed. This is how I get hungry and I feed off this. This is my fuel. This is what I consume. I haven't eaten today because I knew I was going to eat and feed off of fake news and smoke and Pinocchio content creators. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. That's what I live for. I wake up for this if I even go to bed. In this news right here, the Browns could potentially draft Travis Hunter and trade up in the draft and grab Shedeur. Oh, gee. Wonder who's been saying this for quite some time. Who's been saying the Browns are going to try to grab both Shedeur and Hunter if Travis Hunter goes 2 and Shedeur fall?
Let him cook.
There's more. There's more. There's always more. There's more negative reports. There's no more people talking nonsense out there. Team source, the scenario no one is talking about. Yeah, look at this. Read this. The scenario, I put in the comments of this this tweet, by the way. I've been talking about it for weeks. So ... So I put it in the comment. I'm not gonna let them say that. Look what he says. The team source. The scenario no one's talking about is the Browns drafting Travis Hunter and trading up for Shedeur in the late teens. No one's talking about that. We've been talking about it. So I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. What are you talking about? Jay Glazer. By the way, the two guys who are absolutely universally loved are Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty. One coach about Hunter told me, we've never seen a guy like this. He's not just the best player in this draft. He's so special. He's probably the best guy in the next 10 drafts. Travis Hunter's beloved by all. Kind of wild. His name's not Sanders. His last name is Hunter, but he's kind of like an adopted son of sorts to Dion. So it's wild that Hunter gets great raving reviews, but Shedeur gets tore down. Shedeur's not accurate. Shedeur's not this. Shedeur's very accurate. Oh, he's accurate? So the stats say he's accurate? Well, let me make up something else. Well, he only throws short passes then. Okay. Well, did it work? Well, yeah, but it worked because of Travis Hunter. Oh, okay, so he made Travis Hunter into a star. Well, Travis Hunter is the one that made Shedeur. Maybe they did it together. And maybe some of the errant passes and maybe scrambling around and holding onto the ball too long and taking a sack and a loss that maybe he shouldn't. Maybe some of that is because he knows he's got a Superman out there and he knows how to deliver the ball to him. And he throws some of these passes where people go, that's kind of a wild pass. It's a great pass, but it's a wild pass. Well, he's throwing a wild pass to a wild man. That wild man named Travis Hunter is going to grab anything on his fingertips. That ball is going. No one saw that. The ball's going like that. Travis Hunter's grabbing that. He's grabbing it like this. He's diving like that. He can literally deliver a football to a guy that he knows is going to catch it. That's smart. He knows how to play in the confines of what he's being offered, what he has in his disposal. So why are people judging him on throwing an errant pass and Travis Hunter catching it and then saying Travis Hunter's the reason that play worked when he knows where to place it so that Travis Hunter can grab it? If you know Travis Hunter is going to grab something another player is not going to, do you not throw it so that people don't judge you and say that was a weird pass that you threw? It wasn't safe. He knows it's going to be safe. That's why his judgment is actually very sound. He's a good player. He's a good prospect. He's no guarantees, no lock. No player is, except for Jeanty and Travis Hunter in this draft, as this one source said. Let me put that over here. Next piece of news. We're finally off the Shedeur news. George Pickens, well, looky here, reindeer. Multiple sources, and I trust Jordan Schultz news, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, not that they don't get it wrong, and we let them know when they end up, overstepping on their, speculative stuff, and then they kind of intertwine it with some facts, and you can't see the gray area in between. That we let them know. But this report here, multiple teams have brought up Steelers wide receiver George Pickens in trade discussions, and he's a name to watch this week, really tomorrow. Pittsburgh isn't actively shopping him, but the conversations have taken place. Pickens is entering his final year of his contract. That is when players get moved, especially when teams don't sign said player to an extension and don't appear to have interest in signing said player to an extension. So the thing that you need to keep in mind is, even though the Steelers and Khan is the GM, a con man, like in a positive way, we say that because he gets deals done. He's pretty good at moving players and negotiating. And con man's probably trying to posture this thing. Like I said yesterday, when you're trading Joe Burrow because you have JD5 in a 1 QB league, what do? You put JD5 on your bench until you trade Joe Burrow. You put Joe Burrow into your lineup and you start sending out trade offers because you want people to look at the lineup and say, hey, he's in his lineup. You posture. Telling people you want to trade George Pickens is not a good way to posture. You say, we're not interested. Okay, let's sit by the phone. Let's sit by the phone. You're telegraphing in many ways that you do want to trade him. because you don't want to hold him and in a contract year. You admitted you don't necessarily want him for the future by not extending him. And it's not like you're being cheap with your money. You traded for DK Metcalf and immediately signed him to a long-term deal that was George Pickens' money. So Pickens is certainly and the only reason I think Pickens is being quiet is because they came to him and said, hey, George, we're going to trade you on draft day. Just shut up and sit back, okay? And George's like, okay. It doesn't make any sense that he's not even making a beef out of somebody taking his job, because DK's the one. Make no mistake about it. DK, he's the 1A, 1B, but DK's the 1A. Or you could call him 1B and 1C if maybe they dilute each other into the point where no one of them can be the 1A. So 1B, 1C, essentially. Make no mistake about it, DK, this is DK's team. He's the one that got paid. It's DK's team because DK's there long term. Pickens is in a contract year. Don't even try and suggest this isn't now DK's wide receiver room, or you're going to embarrass yourself. And I'll be embarrassed because of your comment. Secondhand embarrassment sometimes worse than firsthand. Pickens. Jeanty. Justin. Jaguars are now the favorite Vegas odds to draft Boise State star Ashton Jeanty. Minus 130 odds. Doesn't always mean that's going to go that route. For those of you that understand, Smitty, you think you know it all, very arrogant. Well, then here, you can leave. It's fine. We don't need you here. We don't need you here, Ryan. There you go. Now you're free. Go watch another show. Nobody needs you here if you're not going to take the content and the information the way that it's presented. If it bothers you that much, I don't want you to be bothered. Okay, so there you go, Ryan. You're free. You're free. You're free. Fly away. You're free. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this Jeanty news right here. The Athletic reports. Oh, real quickly, back to the odds of Jeanty going to the Jaguars. Keep in mind that the odds are driven by the people. For those that don't understand how the Vegas odds work, it's essentially where you have Vegas trying to, a lot of people think Vegas is making the prediction and the odds mean this. The odds are essentially you want a certain number of people on this side of the line and a certain number of people on this side of the line. And so that the odds move. So if this is like, let's say it's a 3-point spread on a game. So this is a 3-point spread. And all of a sudden, more people start betting on this side, and then Vegas is kind of, okay, if this goes this way, we're paying out more money here than we're paying out here. Let's move this line over here and make this odd 4 now, and then you get more people over here, and it evens it out. Vegas is essentially, sometimes they'll make a play for a grab I'm sure of it. But in general, Vegas is trying to get the exact number of people on each side of a moving line so that they just take the vig in the middle. They take the vig in the middle, and essentially they want it even Steven. So the people push the line. And so that's why oftentimes these lines really early on who's getting traded, those don't always hold true. Okay. Yo, what's that drawing? Yeah, the drawing was definitely up for interpretation. Okay. All right, let's get on to this next piece of news. The Athletic reports multiple NFL coordinators and position coaches have concerns about Ashton Jeanty's pass protection. Of course they do. This news has to break right now. It has to break right now. Why would it not break right now? Why wouldn't people say, you know what? Anonymous reports, we're the Bears. Hi, this is Ryan Poles. Anonymous person, Ryan Poles. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys some inside information. A lot of people around the league are worried about Ashton Jeanty. He doesn't drink a lot of water. He should drink more water. There are times where he didn't pass protect well because he was busy running for 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns. Yes, a lot of concern We're really concerned about whether he's going to let a quarterback get leveled. So he probably should drop to 10. Yeah, you Pinocchio, Mickey Mouse, talking heads. Unbelievable. Really, we knew this was coming. Got glowing reports everywhere. Someone's got to put something out there. Of course, the Athletics like, let's drop something negative. We got to know. Everyone's tired of seeing glowing reports. Let's go against the grain. Who can come up with a negative on Ashton Jeanty right now to get some views and clicks? Let's go against traffic. Somebody, anybody. Well, Steve, yes, I got one. If you look at the metrics, he was running the ball so much, and he has 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns. We can pick apart some of his pass protection and receiving game skills walking into this draft class. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Real worried about Jeanty. They're going to take him off the field on third down. Real worried. Hey, who do we get this information to? Someone called Diana Rossini. Somebody called Diana Rossini. Get this information over to her. Stat. I love it. And then we got this on the topic of Diana Rossini. Let me put this report on my screen. This is unbelievable. Like, I try to be fair with some of the news creators in the space. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I try and look at the positives. But Diana Rossini and Chase Daniels and this podcast, this little Mickey Mouse podcast they have, I put this up here on the stories, strikes again. Diana Rossini posted this yesterday, which we reported on because she posted it. So we told everyone what she wrote. Brock Purdy's appearance at 49ers OTAs is a positive sign, and extension talks continue between San Francisco and his QB. George Kittle's absence is also contract related, sources say. What sources, Diana? Can you tell us? Are your sources scared? Is it the janitor's uncle's cousin that was mopping the floor during one of the meetings and misheard the wrong information? Sources say two sides remain far apart. Now, again, whenever it's Diana Rossini, I always preface, I don't know what to tell you on this one. I don't know what's true. George Kittle knows what's true. He immediately popped back off and said, your source is incorrect in George Kittle fashion. This is from RSF 49ers, our boy Raj. George Kittle setting her straight. What does she do? She goes on her podcast today and says, George Kittle called me out. George Kittle called me out and said, my source is wrong. He's traditionally a really nice guy, but he called me out and said my source is wrong. So I went back and checked with my source. You don't have a source. You don't have a source. No one's picking up the phone and going, give it to Diane Rossini. Do it now. Do it live. Don't call Schefter or Rappaport. Stat. Send it over to Diana. I checked with my source, and he confirmed I was right. He says it is contract related. Kittle just told you it's not contract related. Kittle just told you your source is incorrect. So she goes to her source. She said on her podcast today, I went to my source and I asked him, George Kittle called me out. Did you lead me down the wrong road? And she said, my source said no, it's correct. So I confirmed it. What do you mean you confirmed it? George just set you straight and you're back at it again saying it's contract related. George said it's not. He said it's not. What are you doing? It's so wild to me. Like, does anybody know, has Kittle ever shown up to voluntary workouts over the last handful of years? Let's see if Kruger knows. I don't know if Kruger is going to know this. Hey, Kruger, when's the last time George Kittle showed up to voluntary workouts in this April date range?
Hey, Smitty. Kittle actually missed the voluntary workouts in 2023, but he attended them in 2024. He's been pretty consistent overall. Want me to check if he's there this year?
No, I don't. I don't know if Kruger's right on that. I'm not sure. If someone can let me know. When's the last time Kittle? And yeah, Kittle was at WrestleMania. That's probably what he was doing. He was at WrestleMania. It's voluntary workouts, and he's telling her your source is incorrect. And she literally says, well, let me go ask my source. That's like saying, I think that there's no afterlife. And then God comes down and says, you're wrong. And she goes, well, my pastor told me. Let me go check with my pastor, God. Hold on one second. Hey, pastor, are you misleading me? No, I'm correct. God, my pastor said that there's no afterlife. What's Diana Rossini doing back there? What's she doing back there? You know, trying to get clicks. What is it? Ashton Jeanty, this from Diana Rossini. The Athletic reports. This is coming from NBC, you know, so I can't control NBC's reporting on it. I can't control that she's reporting on it. I can't control that people are reporting on it. I have to talk about it. A lot of the time I shoot it down. You know what we're doing here moving forward is we're going with this, the reliability score of Diana Rossini's George Kittle take. I don't even have a 0. I wish I had a 0. Whoops. Wrong button. That's the waiver wire. I wish I had a 0 for this potential situation. Let me see if I can. Here it is. Sorry. Reliability score of Diana Rossini's George Kittle report is it should be a 0. I have a 1. It should be a 0. It should. I guess I could just do this. I could just say, yeah, there you go. There's no 1. It's absolute 0. Let's test this one. The Athletic Diana Rossini reports there are members of the Raiders front office that are I didn't even read this one yet. Front office pushing to take an offensive line with the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Why are we talking about this now? Because it's different than what everybody else is reporting. This will get clicks. This will get clicks because if it said that the Raiders are considering drafting Jeanty at number 6, guess what? No one would post it. No one would talk about it. But if Diana Rossini or anybody else says, oh, there's reports that the Raiders in the front office might be pushing for an offensive lineman because they're telegraphing what they want to do, of course, then that gets clicks. The reliability of this, I mean, look, there's a possibility they're kicking around an offensive lineman. Like, that's not new news, but to drop this now when the odds of Jeanty going 6, if he's even there, because Vegas says he's going 5, little one. Reliability 1. What are we doing? Back there? I just don't know. Anymore. Jeanty, let's put Jeanty over here since we're not talking about him. I don't want to confuse matters. Patrick Mahomes, look at this man. This man's been working out like a monster. He looks bigger, stronger, faster. And I think he's taking personal this, defeat and that they're not a high-octane passing attack anymore. And Patrick Mahomes said he wants to try to get back some of the explosive passing plays that we've done in years past. He's been lifting. He's got one of the most underrated wide receiver rooms. You could call it top 5, top 6 wide receiver room in the National Football League that he didn't have full octane, full go, full send last year. He's got Rashee Rice, a top 5 potential wide receiver. He was on pace for top 5 numbers. He's a potential top 5 wide receiver. Not saying he finishes there, but he's got the potential to. He's probably more of like a 5 to 7, 5 to 8, which is fantastic. He's got the ability to be every bit as good as like a Nico Collins, Rashee Rice. I'm not saying he will be. He has every bit as the potential. You've got Xavier Worthy, who was playing like a top 2 or 3. I think we calculated it was like wide receiver 2 or 3 overall if you take his last 5 games played, including the 3 playoff games, one of which he didn't do anything in. You take the 5 games he played last, 3 playoff games, one of which he didn't do anything, and 2 regular season games that he played. I believe he was wide receiver 2 on that 5-game extrapolation. If you were to equate that to a 17-game season. In fantasy, you'd have been wide receiver 2. Not saying it's smart data and good math, but it certainly tells you how good he is. And to be honest with you, I'm so excited about Mahomes. The haters are going to hate. That's fine. I'm all for drafting that guy all day long. He's going around 6, 7, sometimes 8, and that's laughable. Lions will face the Chargers in the 2025 Hall of Fame game on, July something. So that's kind of cool. So Lions and the Chargers. That's awesome news. I love hearing about football. Man, we're getting close. We're so close. The NFL draft is tomorrow. By the way, I'm live during the entire draft tomorrow. So all of round one, we're live. We'll be live an hour before, maybe more. And we'll be live probably after, obviously, breaking things down. Dallas Cowboys are expected to target this, of course, coming from Diana Rossini, who's really just putting out as many predictions as she can, so one of them sticks. The Cowboys are expected to target, but see how everybody's referencing Diana Rossini. Can someone tell me what Diana Rossini, what's her ultimate rise from? Because I don't understand why everybody goes, when she says 10,000 things in one day to try and throw some mud on the wall. Why is it such an important report? Is it because she works for The Athletic? What is the deal? Cowboys are expected to target an offensive skill position at pick number 12. Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden, Arizona wide receiver Tet McMillan are among the names linked. This is very well-known information that they're looking to draft Tet, or I think Igbuka is also in the mix if I had to give you my prediction. But we'll see. We'll see. Some of this is speculation, obviously. And that's the news for right now. That's what we got. Let's hit these super chats real quick. Call your boy Loud with a $20 hauler. You know what that means. Call your boy Loud. You get a drone flight, young man. $20 haulers get drone flights. They're back, baby. They're back for, I don't want to say a limited time until we can't, control doing them every time anymore. But right now, call your boy Loud. Call your boy is what I'm going to put on this one. Drone flight initiated. Call your boy. Wants to fly. Let the boy fly. Here you go. Call. Do it live. Do it live. Call your boy. There we go.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Best fantasy football drone flyer on planet Earth. Replay crew popping in to show appreciation. Appreciate you. This is a member of the usual replay crew. So call your boy Loud coming in with a $20 hauler. Appreciate you, my boy. Dropping fire. We've got Tristan coming in strong. Bet the crashes. Scott, we don't crash the drone much anymore. I'm a very, very good drone flyer. Okay, why are you kind of low on Caleb Johnson versus some others? Tristan, because he had a horrible combine. He is slow to me, and it's not that I don't like him. He has some good film, but you're talking about a very deep running back class, and he's starting to slip in the eyes of many. So the landing spot is probably not going to be guaranteed, although it could be a Pittsburgh Steelers team. Landing spot can certainly put Caleb into the top 4 or 5 running back rankings if he lands, let's say, in Pittsburgh, or the Broncos take him, or the Commanders take him, or he goes somewhere like Minnesota or Houston. There's some nice, hidden value there for future value. So where he goes will ultimately determine whether I like him or not. But preemptively, without landing spots, I just like these other guys a lot better. It's not that I hate him. I just don't love his value. I don't like him as much as the other guys. But again, I'm not saying Arian Foster. BBQ dropping 50 gifted memberships. BBQ wants a drone flight. I'm not saying that Caleb's garbage. I'm just telling you that until he lands in a great spot, he's not ranked higher than these other guys that are just better specimens, my boy. But was Arian Foster the same talent that Marshall Faulk was? No. Was Arian Foster as good as Barry Sanders? No. Was Arian Foster as good as LaDainian Tomlinson? No. Was he as good fantasy-wise as Faulk and Tomlinson? Yes. So could Caleb Johnson in the right spot be fantasy-wise as good as any of these running backs aside from Jeanty? Sure. BBQ in the building, dropping 50 gifted memberships. A 50 gifted membership gets a drone flight as well. What do we look like? Complete a-holes? I don't think so.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
I'm the best drone flyer in fantasy football on planet Earth. On planet Earth. Would you sell Rome Odunze for the 1.5? I think it's pretty close, but I think I would. I like Rome a lot, but I think I'd rather have the 1.5. I think after the NFL draft is over and we have names attached to landing spots, we might just feel very, very differently about that pick. You know, right now it feels like, oh, it's the 1.5. You know, it's not, you don't get full, choice over who you get. You're fifth, you're getting scraps. But it really could be as good. Like Buka. It could be a Luther Burden, who I love. It could be Trey Henderson. So give me the 1.5. Any $20 super chats get a drone flight. BBQ. Hey, BBQ, how'd you like that drone flight? Drone flights each pick in the first round. You bet your bottom dollar. Every pick is going to be announced via the drone. All right. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. We got to charge it tonight, though. It might die at some point, and have to charge it. BBQ, appreciate you. Any $20 hauler from anybody tonight gets a drone flight. Appreciate you all. I caught BBQ's, by the way. That's the first catch of the year on BBQ's dime. So appreciate BBQ being in here. Gump, you're live.
Yeah. I just want to say that I really believe that my mom didn't cook me a Hot Pocket, and we ain't trading JMO because that's a false scenario. That's bad.
Gump, can you do something for me? Stop thinking about what you want and think logically about the situation.
That's what they were all saying. It's not logical to trade them. It's ridiculous. Everybody that I talk to that's a Lions fan.
What Lions fan? Did you hear what you just said? Everybody I talk to that's a Lions fan?
Well, that's the most important.
They're the most important fans, but they're not the most realistic.
We are the most important people. You guys should be supporting us after all the years we didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Gump, I'm about to hang up on you because you're not listening to me. You're a Lions fan. The people you're asking are Lions fans. That's like asking your mom, "Mom, am I a really good kid?" Gump, she's gonna come down to the basement with your Hot Pocket and say, "Gump, you're a great kid." This is you don't go to Lions fans to ask about whether JMO's getting traded. The bottom line is you're not using logic. Is JMO causing problems? Yes. Is JMO clearing his social media? Yes. Is JMO potentially on the block? Yes. Is all the news pointing to him being the most likely player to be traded? Yes. Is he on social media putting loyalty before? Gump, stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Stop it. I'm not saying he's a lock to get traded, but stop. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. They're tempted to trade him. They're trying to trade him. Have they inked him to a long-term deal? You can't even ink him to a long-term deal. You got too many players you got to pay. You got way too many players you got to ink to a long-term deal to worry about your second wide receiver, who's a very good player, but you could start over with a rookie. You get Luther Burden over JMO. Look, I'm not saying I don't like JMO over Luther Burden right now, but you give me a free Luther Burden and I have him on a rookie deal starting over now versus having to lose him for nothing or overpay him and lose someone else. Gump, you're not thinking straight. You're thinking bias. I'm not saying he's a lock to go anywhere either, though, because it takes the right offer for a team to make the trade. But if someone can trade him out for a Luther Burden, they're doing it in a snap. That's the way the business world works.
Well, what happened was, I don't know if you know about Woodward Sports, and Neil went off like crazy about this. And I don't know if you know who Neil is on Woodward Sports, but Neil went nuts. Did you just do a drop? Did you just try and drop another show? That's a violation of the phone. No.
Finish him.
There's no free rides here. Did this guy Neil advertise on my channel? Did I get a super chat, a $200 super chat to say, hey, mention me, Smitty? I don't think so. So Neil doesn't get free rides. Not on this channel. Not going to happen, Gump.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
All right, phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dallas needs O-line bad. That's true. That's true. Trade Alexander for Tyreek Hill. Sure. No. All right, let me answer these. Let me get these callers on the line here. All right, dial in. Okay, we'll go to the what's this phone number? This phone number is a 901 caller first. You're live. Please mute Kyrie Boston. Go ahead, 901.
Hey, Smitty, it's Mike from San Diego. What's up?
What's up, Mike?
Yeah, just wanted to talk about Egbuka and what his possible landing spots would be for him to reach his full potential. I personally think Green Bay is his best spot, in my honest opinion.
Great question, bro. Can I answer this question for both Luther Burden and Egbuka at the same time? Because it really does apply.
Sure.
I'd say the best landing spot for both of them long term is Washington, because Debo and McLaurin are going to age out really quickly. You're talking about maybe another year for both of them, and one of them could even tail off a little bit this year. Green Bay would probably be a very strong second or tied for second place. I think, you look at a place like Buffalo and Green Bay, they're probably tied together as the best spot. But the only problem with Buffalo is you just don't know if they know what they're doing. And same thing with Green Bay. I mean, to be honest with you, bro, Jaden Reed should be a mini Debo Samuel. When I say mini, I don't mean like that much lesser. I just mean like he's not going to run as much. He'll be a little bit more receiver than he is wide back, but he can be wide back. He should be wide back. And they came out, the coaching staff came out last week and said they're going to run him less now. They want to run him less. And it's like they don't know what they're doing with him. So part of me worries a little bit. But I think Washington quietly is the best spot. I think New England's in the top 4 or 5 because he'd be the number 1 there. I think, you look at a place like Carolina and it's kind of crafty. Now, again, Egbuka and Burden, they're not going 8. So this would be something where there's a trade up or one of them falls in the second round. And, it's going to be a creative way to land in these spots. But those are probably the best spots, bro. I would say... Tennessee's interesting because we got to remember Tennessee with Ward is going to look different for a wide receiver landing spot than Tennessee right now. So we're going to have to consider that being one of them. I think the Raiders need a player. I know a lot of people love Jacoby Myers, but he's not a 1 to me. But I think, until they have a quarterback, they have an okay quarterback situation, but they have Brock Bowers. They'll probably draft Jeanty if he's there. I don't know. We'll have to see how that looks to us, later on. I think, I think those are probably the best spots, bro. If I'm looking around, I know a lot of people like the Chargers. I don't, because it's lads there to consume. I don't think that's a great spot. Arizona, I don't want someone playing second fiddle. Dallas is a good spot, but you're limiting a player tremendously. You want Egbuka or Burden to go be a 1. So Tennessee, Cleveland probably taking Hunter.
I think Green Bay. They use him right. I know the Jade Reed thing's concerning, but you don't think that's just more of how they view him as like a gadget guy kind of.
I would say if they draft him round 1, that's making a statement they haven't really made before. So that makes me feel like I'd feel more comfortable with it. Sure, that's why Green Bay's tied for second. I have enough confidence in, but it is worrisome. Buffalo's tied for second, but I have a little bit of worry, which is why Washington is the very best spot for a wide receiver. That and you could even argue New England's better than Green Bay and Buffalo if you have enough worry. But I'd probably put New England tied for 4th best spot. But Washington is the very best spot. I don't even think that if they invested in a Luther Burden or a Egbuka at 29, which is very possible if they don't go Trey Henderson, there's no way that he's not contributing this year in a major way. And then in 1 calendar year, we're talking about him being a stud. Either one.
Well, he could be like an Odunze. I would see him being like an Odunze last year, where he just, he has DJ Moore and Keenan in front of him.
Yeah,
it's good. Really produce that peak potential.
Yeah, good example. I think that's a good way to put it. I think he'll be better than. I think either one would be better in Washington than Odunze was as a rookie. But I think the hype behind Odunze in his second year right now is very, very similar to like you're saying. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, hang tight real quickly. If you got another question, I'll come back to you. You said this is Joe?
Yeah.
Who was it, Joe? What was your name? Or what was your name?
Yeah, Joe.
No, sorry, the 901 call. The 901 caller. What was your name? The one that just spoke. I don't know. Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, real quick. So, like, are you seeing like Jonathan Taylor kind of just falling, like year in, year out? You know, these last couple of years, or like, would you take? Like, who would you rather take, Jonathan Taylor or Bucky Irving?
Bucky. Well, let me think about it.
Get buckied. Buckied. Buckied.
Yeah, Bucky. I'm not saying JT can't outscore him, but like JT was great at the end of the year. Left a great taste in a lot of people's pause. Look, he was great. He was great at the end of the year, but he's an injury concern. The offense is a mess. We don't know what's going on with it. Are they going to live near the red zone? How can JT have like 15 touchdowns, when they probably are struggled to get near the red zone? So they're all breakaway touchdowns he's going to need. And I'm not saying he doesn't get some, but I don't know. I like JT, and JT's falling to the end of round 2. Bucky's falling around there sometimes too. They're very close, but give me Bucky, bro. I think Bucky has a better chance to be a top 5 running back.
What about JT or Breece Hall? Like, I mean, since Breece Hall is kind of in a similar situation.
Trick question.
As, JT.
That's a trick question though, because like you can get both of them. Asking me to draft Breece Hall where JT's going is, I don't need to do that. I'll never need to do that. Breece Hall is going in the 3rd, probably trending close to the 4th round. If he escapes the NFL draft, I think he stays in the 3rd. If he escapes the NFL draft and they don't draft, but they could draft like somebody we're not even expecting. It doesn't have to be Jeanty or something. It could be something. Then all of a sudden his value takes a little bit of a hit. But I don't think you can ask that question really unless you're just telling me, my example of an airplane.
Like, what if it was a trade, like straight up, if you
can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that trade. That trade, the market commands you get more with Breece Hall. Do I quietly? Let me put it this way: would I rather have Breece Hall and something significant, or JT? I'd rather have Breece Hall and something significant if I like that significant piece. But if I had JT and someone offered me Breece Hall, and I do quietly kind of want Breece Hall more, I'm not trading it straight up. You can't do that. You play that game too many times, you're going to get burned and leave too much meat on the bone. But I definitely am interested in saying, well, maybe I can swap out my Tyreek Hill or my, I don't know, a player like Evans or something and get a player that I really like that's younger. Or maybe I can upgrade my Goff or Caleb into Mahomes, and it's a dynasty league, and I have to swap out JT and Breece Hall. Boom. That's how I'm doing it. But if you ask me, the airplane example, I get on an airplane, the door's closing, and I'm going to be flying for 17 weeks in the sky. Week 1's kicking off, and the door's closing, and you say, Smitty, my life's on the line. Who outscores who this year, Breece Hall or JT? Like, I could see myself struggling to answer that question. That's how much I think Breece can explode. But there's still risk factors, and, we'll see what the Jets do. I think the Jets, having Fields being so, difficult to scheme against, I think Breece Hall is going to have open lanes everywhere, and they have to run multiple running backs.
They both have similar quarterbacks, or quarterbacks, with Daniel Jones and Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields has a much higher ceiling. Don't get me wrong, but as far as their play style, kind of similar. And then, I mean, is the Jets' offensive line, is it pretty healthy? Are they good there?
Yeah, I mean, they got some work to do, but look, like I always say, you get a mobile quarterback. Remember how many people told me that my Commanders' predictions weren't going to pan out, and JD5's going to get crushed, and they got a horrible offensive line. And what was my answer to everybody? that you have a mobile quarterback under center or in the gun, guess what happens? You never face the same defensive scheme ever again. You are seeing lighter boxes. You have somebody spying you. This is a whole different ball game. The Jets offensive line is going to block different. The Jets offensive line is going to act different. The Jets offensive line is going to produce different. You can't judge them at all anymore. This is a whole new ball game. Kurt Warner, same thing with a quick release. Kurt Warner comes over to Arizona. Horrible offensive line. It became amazing right away. Right away. Why? Kurt Warner sets back, quick release. Kurt Warner sets back, quick release. Spread out attack, aerial assault. Defenses had to back up. Less stacked boxes. Boom. Offensive line's great now. So to judge, even if they didn't do a single thing to it, you're going to coach it up. You got different coaches. You're going to coach it up, and you're going to see different schemes and less stacked boxes, and it's going to be a much easier road. The Jets offensive line could flip, 5 to 8 spots just on Justin Fields being under center, just right away. So you gotta be careful.
It's basically it's kind of a void. What I'm getting from all this is you're kind of advising stay away from many, Colts offensive players.
No, I mean, I'm just saying be careful with JT. The Colts don't have any other players. I'm not really even saying that because I don't need to. Who else are you going to draft? Downs, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're going to take them late or something, but who else are you going to draft? They have nobody. So it's JT. Right. Yeah, I don't mind JT, but honestly, I'm taking Bucky every time. And Kyron's got a second-round ADP in grandma leagues and home leagues and redraft leagues. And best ball, Kyron's got a third-round ADP, inching toward the fourth round. And if I'm on the clock at the 2-3 turn, I'll take JT sometimes just to mix things up, to make sure I'm, offsetting risk and all that. But if I had one draft at the 2-3 turn and JT and Kyron are there, and Kyron's certainly there, I'm taking Kyron over JT. And that's
so then what's wrong with underdog and their
What's mute Gump, mute yourself. There's so much
above.
Yeah. Mute yourself, Gump. I can't hear over him. Can you say that last part again? I think I know what you said, but go ahead.
So if I'm not mistaken, underdog, they have JT at an ADP higher than Breece Hall and Kyron. So I'm and Bucky, I think.
Bucky's
what's going on with underdog? I don't understand what they're saying. What they're seeing.
Yeah, so Bucky's higher than all of them. Bucky's in round 2. He's got round 2 ADP. Breece Hall and Kyron are both round 3 ADP. The thinking behind why that's the way it is, is geared around the wide receiver driven draft mentality that consumes underdog drafters. You could look at it like this. I mean this with all due respect, but the best ball drafting community as a whole are a lot of data driven. I'm gonna think of this like a business. I don't need anybody's expert help. I'm my own, statistician and thinking, machine. And there's a lot of people that, they call themselves sharp drafters, and you're drafting a lot of sharp drafters, a lot of terminology. Look, the bottom line is this. This is not a fantasy football, a sport, a hobby, whatever you want to call fantasy football. It's not one that you can use data and stats like you can baseball or basketball. Baseball, you don't have to watch a single damn game of fantasy baseball and you can dominate everybody, because all it is statistics. When you play nearly 200 games, your batting average, your stolen base percentage, your everything is literally a stat that does not change or fluctuate much at all. If you're a 0.75, you're a 0.75. If you score 6.7 fantasy points per game, you score mother freaking 6.7 fantasy points per game. Football is the one thing where you could step on the field in week 6 and be the best running back in the league from 7 through 17. It is a more gut-driven thing than it is anything else. And I think that's why a lot of people like this channel. Because I come out with a lot of stats. I do a lot of data. I have data boards and stat boards and player profile pages and missed forced tackles. And I bring a lot of stats to the table. But what I pride myself on more than anything is the gut calls, going with gut instinct, going with what your eyes tell you, best player available, logical stuff that isn't boring old, push your glasses up and get the Excel sheet out. I can't stand when somebody says, where do you have Breece Hall ranked? And they go to their stat sheet. They're like, I have him as running back 16. Like, what do you mean you have him as running back 16? Like, no matter what? Like, you projected it out in your gut and your eyes, like you just have them on the paper and that's it? Like me, you ask me if Breece Hall is my number, I don't know, 7 running back, 8 running back one day and ask me the next day, it'll be 1 or 2 off. I'm different from 1 hour to the next. One show he might be my running back 7, the next show he might be my running back 6. Like that's real. That's real. This whole he's my running back 16. Hey, just you'll be 16. Like those are, look, again, I mean this with all due respect, but the major best ball community.
No, dude, that's why. That's why I follow you, man. Because I mean, you come up. And
there is a trend of just using this data-driven analysis. And that X number of teams qualified for the finals that won, that went wide receiver off of last year's data. Not this year's data. You don't have this year's data, but last year's data, I'm going to draft off that. Like, really? Like, you know what I do? This is what I do. Okay, what's different about this year than last year? Running backs feel more secure, or wide receivers, or I like this. Like, I think I'm going to draft around these wide receiver junkies that just take wide receiver. But anyways, to answer your question, that wide receiver Excel sheet Eric mentality where wide receivers get consumed because that's what they're brainwashed to think. You got to go wide receiver. People that win the Best Ball Mania want wide receiver. And even though the Best Ball Mania 2023 winner, I believe, went running back, by the way. But people are like, you got to have this. That mentality's pushing running backs down. So in best ball with it, and let me also emphasize this. The people in best ball are sometimes the most like veteran fantasy football players because they're investing thousands and thousands of dollars into playing. So they do come with a good, foundation of knowledge and everything. It's just the problem is they get caught up in the data from the previous year and they start, drafting on it. And the thing about it, the thing that it's so funny to me is when you have like 80% of an entire draft of 12 people following that, because they're diehards, following that mentality, that's 8 out of 12. 8 out of 12 people are going wide receiver heavy, right? So what are the odds that somebody in that other 4 win? Lesser odds. So every year it perpetuates the narrative because the odds of somebody with wide receiver, or thinking wide receiver heavy advancing overall is higher because 8 out of 12 people, and they are sharp people because they're spending thousands of dollars, it perpetuates it. When if you just were to experiment with it and you could mind control people and say, just draft best player available, and let's say it balanced out, those people that are sharp would still play just as good, if not better. They're not having an advantage by going wide receiver. They're just good, and they're still going to win or advance pretty well. So it's a weird narrative, bro. It's weird, but it drives running back value down. And it's a weird thing to say, hey, in your grandma league, Kyren Williams is going in the right place. In the harder Shark League, where people are investing thousands of dollars a year, in that Shark League full of actually sharp players, they're drafting Kyren wrong. Like, it's crazy. How are the grandmas drafting? It's like my mullet example. It's like you have a mullet. It went out of style. You never cut it, and it came back in style. In the Grandma League, they're drafting Kyren where they shouldn't be drafting Kyren, but it's the right place. Like they never adjusted to the fall of Kyren. They still think he's 14 overall, and he is. It's so crazy, bro. And Mahomes in best ball in round 7 is insane. It's insane, bro. All right. Hey,
that whole thing, dude, I appreciate that, man. That was awesome.
All right.
Totally understand. I'm following you, man. Appreciate
All
it,
right.
man.
Hey, hang tight. If you got another one, just mute yourself. You can come back in a second. Let me go over to Kyrie Boston and then over to Gump. Gump, stay muted, please. We got super chats coming in here. Actually, hold on, Kyrie Boston. Let me just get these super chats out of the way real quick. I'll fly through them. 'Twas the night before draft miss, and all through the chat, not a member was stirring except for Gump. By the way, I will do a little, I do a little Santa. It's so funny, BBQ. I do a little Santa by the fireplace, little tale during Christmas time. So you'll very, very much. 'Twas the night before. That's funny. BBQ's he knows what's going on before it happens. Is Javonte cooked in Dynasty? Can I get a yes or no in the chat? I think I don't want to say he's cooked, but I'm not gonna bet the farm on him. I just can't. But it does feel like they'll draft an RB, but where? You know, doesn't sound like they're gonna at 12. You never know. Jerry could wake up on the right side of the bed for once and draft him. I don't know, but I like Javonte. I'm rooting for him. I really am. I just don't know how much I'm banking on it. I'll draft him in a couple drafts. His value is pretty good, but I'm not holding my breath. Draft tomorrow. Fantasy football show is the place to be. Yes, Coble, it is. Appreciate you, Coble, dropping a super chat, my man. We got BBQ with another. I agree with you on Pickens getting traded. Why pay him for one more year rental and he walks away like Fields did? Trade him now and get value to fill the need for DL or QB. They have no second round pick. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And I know Gump's going to talk about it in a minute, but Gump isn't listening to the logic of he walks away and you get nothing. Or you franchise tag him, and are you really going to franchise tag a guy that you were unwilling to sign to a long-term deal? He'd have to have a top 5 wide receiver season or top 7 wide receiver season for you to want to franchise him when you weren't even wanting to pay him. And he's the 4th or 5th option. So they're definitely going to be shopping him. It's just a matter of if a team gives him the right offer. The running back shift is coming. When everyone zigs, we'll zag. Absolutely, this year's running back class will tighten up. This is the best year to try 0 RB. I'm not saying you force it. Best player available hopefully will open doors to it in certain drafts that you're trying to aim for it, and then you adjust if you need to. But we'll go through 0 RB, hero RB, 0 wide receiver. But when you grab Scattaboo, Dylan Sampson, Trey Henderson, even Hampton, and have all those running backs and then beef up on the wide receivers and quarterback, it is a great place to be. We were first. Do it live. Coble, appreciate you. We told you. Okay, almost done with these super chats. 2 more, and then I'll go to Kyrie Boston. Will Egbuka be drafted prior to his line of 26.5? I believe so. I would definitely say yes on that, because there have been numerous reports. Again, some might be just smoke and fictitious, whatever, but I believe it to be true. And sometimes I like, I'm gonna give a report like a report like I'm gonna suggest here in a second, a very high confidence score of like 8, reliability score, when someone says something like Egbuka is one of the most universally loved wide receivers in the draft class, and he is. And the reason I give that a reliability score of 8 is because that's what I feel. It's not just a biased confirmation. It's me saying with logic, no bias involved, this matches what I'm thinking. Then I'm believing what I'm hearing there. Whereas if something's just out of the blue and it doesn't jive with my thinking, and this is my show and my opinion, this is my documentary, not a collaboration by any means with anybody else. This is my opinion. I'm going to have bias involved. Doesn't mean the bias is wrong. The bias is rooted in what I believe. Smitty is the unicorn. Great content. Funny. Interacts with his chat. Live callers. And he says smart money doesn't make money. Scared money don't make money. Appreciate you, BBQ, dropping more fire. Super chats galore. All right, let's go over to Kyrie Boston. You're live.
Yo, Smitty, can you make this make sense, man? I don't understand how they can like give Watson a contract with a weird case, with the massage parlor stuff, but they don't want to draft Sanders because they're saying that he's overconfident, he's arrogant, and those ain't even crimes. I'm like, these players in the league with real crimes, criminals that don't get the backlash that Sanders is getting, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest with you, bro. I mean, I've gone over this at the beginning of the show, and I'll just say that yeah, I don't get the hate for Shedeur. It doesn't make any sense. I think that whenever you have a situation where people are hating on a player, let me put Shedeur back up here. People are hating on a player that it doesn't make sense or there's no logic behind it. It's a lot of the time, almost all the time, rooted in jealousy or some sort of doubling down on a bad take already. We got 243 YouTubers in here and only 107 thumbs up. Smash that thumb up button. And the 100 or so on X, get on over to YouTube and make sure you're subscribed. We do not always go live on YouTube and Twitter at the same time. So make sure that the X.
Yo, Smith.
Hold on one second. I'm answering a question. But Sanders is a guy that, look, people are just, they're betting against him. They hate his dad. His dad's arrogant, so that means he's got to be arrogant. People that talk crap about him, they remain anonymous because they're scared and they're hiding in a corner. And you can't take an anonymous source seriously. If somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to tell you, I heard from somebody that, and I can't tell you who it is, that whatever, Aunt Edna has a rash, and you don't want to shake her hand because you'll catch it." You got to decide whether Aunt Edna, this is a good source or not. Now, if they're unwilling to share their source, are you just going to steer away from Aunt Edna during Thanksgiving? Are you going to disrespect her like that without any sort of logic or any sort of source at all? What if the person telling you is named Diana or Karen and they got no reliability, trust at all? Like, they've been wrong before. They chatter. Like, these people won't even let you know who their source is. Damn, Edna, now you're distracted from talking to her. Nobody's giving her the time of the day. Everybody's scared to touch her. And she didn't do anything wrong. And there's not one person that has any legitimate information or that can back it up. And it's just ruining the dinner. And no one's going near Aunt Edna. Poor Aunt Edna. This guy is getting screwed by the media. No one's got a lick of evidence at all. And people are coming out slowly talking about it. You know, Kyle Brandt finally said something and went pretty hardcore at it. I've been going hardcore at it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight, whatever. I get so sick and tired of this Mickey Mouse reporting, making up lies, just spreading rumors about Shedeur. No evidence whatsoever. Anonymous people have been telling me he's not good. Use your own eyeballs and brain. If someone's going to tell you he's not that good and you don't already know that that's correct or not correct, you don't know ball anyway. Like, who's saying this? This anonymous source said, and he's not that good anyway, after he crapped all over him. If that influences anybody, they don't know ball. Because you let some faceless, nameless Aunt Edna smearing campaign artist come out and tell you he's no good? Use your own brain. Use your own eyeballs. This guy's a good quarterback prospect. He's not a guarantee. Nobody is. Cam Ward's not a guarantee. But it's going to backfire on everybody. It's going to backfire on everybody. Watch it happen.
Yo, you just made my argument for me. I was about to say what you just said about his father, but you said it already. About Dion.
Yeah, people hate him, so they hate his son.
I feel the same way. It's
stupid. It's like, look at all the Bronny James hate. You know, Bronny James, he got forced into a situation a little early, let's be honest. He was not ready for the NBA.
But he was the last pick in the draft. What do you expect
I know, but the hatred toward him is out of control. Bronny was never given a shot. And it was a media-driven circus event. And everybody acting like, if you think Shedeur doesn't have a shot, I'm sorry to tell you, but you don't know at least college ball. You think you do, but you don't. If I said he's a lock, I wouldn't know ball. I'm not saying he's a lock. I'm saying if you think that this guy doesn't have a shot, you don't know college football. You just don't. And that's okay. That's why you're here. You're trying to consume. It's all right. It doesn't make you a bad person, but you don't know ball if you've already ruled him out. Okay.
Can I say something about that Henderson thing?
Real quickly.
I see you got Henderson going to Kansas City. You think they could get him in the draft?
I didn't. You said I have Henderson going to Kansas City?
It looks like that's in the thumbnail. Is that what that
okay.
means?
That's
I see Kansas City and Henderson.
There's rumors about the KC Chiefs looking into him, but no, he's not. He's not heading to Kansas City.
They might trade up for
We don't know where he's going, bro. It's the draft's tomorrow, but there is a lot of speculation. One of those tiny little scraps of speculation is that Henderson, and we didn't even touch on that yet, so it's a good point that you brought it up. Henderson, there's a rumor that, and let me see if I can put the rumor on screen here, because I was going to go over that one and I hadn't got to it yet. So appreciate you reminding me. Henderson, where is that at? Where is that piece at? KC. Here it is. Trevion Henderson. It says Chiefs conducted a virtual pre-draft call with Ohio State running back Trevion Henderson. So they're just, a lot of these teams will have like an extra, placeholder, like, hey, we let's talk to two more players. And they go through the motions. Like, what if he was to fall? Not to their first round pick, but to their second. Or what if we could trade up into the middle of 2 and he's still there? Like, let's learn about the kid. I'm not saying they would rule out taking him. They did take Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the very end of the first round during his rookie draft and shocked the world. So there's certainly a world where he could go to the KC Chiefs, and he's certainly got value that is right around that territory. Let me put this on screen. I don't know if I had a few more pieces of news. Maybe I didn't get to everything. Goff, we got to that one that was related to the Henderson, Shedeur. I think this is the only one I didn't put up on my screen. So let me just put this here. It's basically what I just read. But yeah, Trevion Henderson, Trey Henderson, as he likes to be called, probably going in the mid to late first round. I think he could go as high as 20, 21. Let me see if I can get this over here. Here's the Trey news right here. He could go as high as 20, 21. And of course, that spot is 20 is the Denver Broncos. They very much love that pass blocking, protecting skill set that he has. Trey Henderson is the number 1 pass blocking running back in the entire running back class in 2025. So when you look at Bo Nix, you want to protect him. You look at JD5, you want to protect him. Not saying that you don't want to protect other quarterbacks, but Josh Allen, this isn't a team that's drafting Trey Henderson to block for Josh Allen. They got James Cook, they got Ray Davis. So these other teams that have quarterbacks that need protection, they're just not looking at it like a Broncos team is, that's wanting this young quarterback to not get hit, and they're trying to develop him. JD5, you're worried about him getting leveled, because he's supposedly the smaller guy that's not going to last in the NFL, right? Look how good he is. Get Trey Henderson in this system, blocking for JD5, the best pass blocking running back in the league, one of the most, if not the most explosive in certain aspects of the game at the running back position from this 2025 draft class. Of course, Jeanty's explosive as well, but I would say Jeanty's more of a Energizer bunny that never stops moving, and you can't take him down. He's kind of like I don't know the best way to describe him. It's almost like a pinball going down a pinball machine. No matter what, it's going downward. That's the way that Jeanty is. He's going downfield. You're not stopping Jeanty. He will not stop. Trey Henderson's got a little bit more of that wiggle and explosion factor, where Trey Henderson is going to Breece Hall the football to the end zone. He's just going to pop off to the outside, and it's going to be, Breece Hall, 60-yard touchdown scamper. That's what you're going to get out of Trey Henderson. Whereas Jeanty's not as much going to do that. He will from time to time, but he's more going to make 3-4 guys miss. Marshawn Lynch, Jeanty, Breece Hall, or Jahmyr Gibbs, or Achane, comparatively to Trey Henderson. That's kind of the way you want to think about these players. Washington can use that Trey Henderson value. Will Trey be there by the 31 pick, though, for KC? I don't think so. I think Denver or Washington drafts him. But if Washington somehow drafts Egbuka there, if he was to fall, and again, the line for Egbuka, I think, was the 25-26 area, which, Houston could take Egbuka, too. They definitely might. Luther Burden could go to Houston or Igbuka. Washington could take Luther Burden or Igbuka or Trey Henderson. Broncos could take Igbuka or Trey Henderson. Ironically, Houston, Denver, and Washington are probably all going after the same players in some respect. So, all right, Kyrie Boston, hang tight. Let me go over around the phone line. Gump, you've been waiting very patiently. Somewhat proud of you.
Well, can I ask you a question?
As long as you're not plugging other people, sure, Gump.
No, I'm just going to just ask you a straight-up question. What team are you really looking at tomorrow in the draft? I mean, there's got to be at least 5 for you, isn't there?
Gump, I'm about everything, bro. This is my job. That's like walking up to Neil Armstrong and saying, "What star are you looking at when you go to outer space?" I'm about everything, bro. But I'm excited as can be about players more than teams. I'm pumped about Trey Henderson. I'm pumped about Luther Burden. I'm pumped about Igbuka. I'm pumped about Shedeur Sanders because of all this hate. I'm pumped about where Trey Henderson or Travis Hunter. The thing is, I'm not even like thinking like that. I'm about the players, the fantasy football aspect. I don't care about the Cardinals. I don't care about the Buffalo Bills. Those are the teams where I'm rooted in, but I don't care. I let that go. It has nothing to do with tomorrow. I don't even think about it. In fact, I don't even want someone good to go to the Cardinals because they need to work on getting the football to the players they have. If everybody can mute, I got a lot of background noise. Somebody's talking to somebody in the background, or I hear some male voice in the background.
The bold prediction of Jeanty going to the Cowboys. So I'll be watching Jerry Jones.
Jeanty's not going to the Cowboys, Gump. Didn't we?
That's my bold prediction.
But didn't we have? What do we have a bet on? What do we have a bet on? You're giving me
the Cowboys are the Cowboys. My bold prediction was to host the show of.
Yeah, you're giving me a bucket of Popeye's chicken if the Cowboys don't take Jeanty, right?
No, it was a 4-piece.
4-piece chicken. Okay.
A 5-piece. No, a 5-piece. It was 5.
5-piece.
Okay, 5 running back.
Okay, Cowboys are getting Jeanty. If not, you're super chatting me the amount of a 5-piece.
No, that was not.
Gump, how are you gonna get me a 5-piece chicken sandwich if you don't just send me a super chat? Are you gonna FedEx it to me?
We'll work it out. We'll work it out good. Okay. Listen, 5 running backs in the first
super
round.
Chat. Just super
remember?
chat, Gump. I don't need the actual meal. Just super chat. Send me a $5 bill.
Okay, well, whatever. No, I'll do better than that. And then there was the bold prediction you read that I co-host the show of Jeanty gets picked by the Cowboys.
Okay, okay, you just confusing me. What was the 5-piece chicken bet then? It's not the same bet.
That was the 5 running backs.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what I asked you. Okay, so 5 running backs in round 1. And you do, and then if there's 5 running backs,
it was 1971.
5 running backs from Gump. I want to put this over here. If 5 running backs go in round 1, I owe Gump a 5-piece chicken, crispy chicken sandwich.
No. I was
whatever.
Gump, the show.
You're focusing on the details, Gump. Who cares? 5 bucket chicken, whatever. 5 bucket chicken, whatever. It's a chicken meal, okay? But you said if 5 running backs don't go in round 1, you're super chatting me. Whatever that meal amount is, you can send 5, 7, whatever it is, okay? And your bold prediction, you co-host an entire show. Lord help all of you. You co-host an entire show.
And it's going to be about
Cowboys get Ashton Jeanty. Okay, hang tight, bro. Hang tight, Gump. I'll be right back for you. Travis Rowe, you're live. Good Lord. Jake, appreciate you.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Just real quick on Javonte. What are you doing with him in Dynasty? Would you be trying to get something for him and
for who?
Like a second rounder, Javonte?
Oh yeah, if I could get if I could get a second, I'd take it. I don't know. I feel bad doing that. I feel like I'm doing Javonte dirty there.
I know because I like him too. I don't know. With Shedeur, it kind of feels like he's going to fall, even though he probably shouldn't. I think the Steelers might end up with him, which would be good for him.
According to this report from Peter Schrager, he says the Steelers don't like him. Which again, I'm not Pinocchio knows, reporting, but Schrager's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a pretty honest, but I don't know that he knows that. I think somebody twisted.
I'm just not sure I buy it.
I didn't hear him say it. It's been reported that he said it, so I'd have to go back and find the original clip where he might have just said, I kind of think the Steelers don't like him. And then somebody said, Peter Schrager says the Steelers don't like him. And then it gets twisted up like the telephone game. But I do like Schrager enough. Yeah. I definitely feel like he's knowledgeable. I don't think he makes up stuff for clicks. I'm not trying to insinuate that Diana Rossini knows nothing. I'm not saying that. And I'm not trying to, say that there aren't some reasons why you'd follow her content or whatever. But just, I don't know how anybody in the world is picking up the phone and saying, we got breaking news. Let's get it to Rossini. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't. I just don't. I think maybe she should admit she's an opinion-based reporter, and just go with predicting stuff. I'm not out here. I'm not a fool. I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, I've got it on good authority and just start saying stuff that the New York Giants are drafting Shedeur. Sometimes people say Smitty, but you're not always right. It's not, you're trying to compare apples to oranges. I'm not out here saying I'm hearing things from teams and players and sources. I'm breaking down all of the news that people drop. I give you my assessment. Now we have the trust meter where I say, 8 out of 10 reliability score from me that's probably true. That's my job. I've defined my job very clearly. I'm a talking head. I'm a predictor. I'm an analyzer of things, and I predict things to happen. I break down the news and let you know my thoughts on it. Do I think it's right? Do I think it's wrong? I think a lot of people out there in the news space shouldn't be in it. They didn't deserve it. They haven't earned it. They don't have a journalism degree half the time. They never did radio. They've never actually scouted for anything. They got no ability to do what they're doing, but they do it anyway. And I think it's crazy. I've got more credentials or resume to be a news provider than 80% of these people, but even I don't play that game because I'm not getting phone calls. No one's feeding me information. These Mickey Mouse Steeler podcasts or the Niner Mickey Mouse podcast over here, no one's giving them info. They don't have anything. When they say per source, I'm hearing this, you're not hearing anything. Somebody a little bit bigger than you said it, and you're trying to repeat it quick enough that no one notices the time difference. That's it.
Right.
That's all it is. Nobody's calling you. No one's got you on the phone. No one cares about the Steelers, Queen Steel podcast, 24/7 NFL Newswire podcast source. the Steel Curtain 99 07 on YouTube. I'm making these names up because I'm not trying to actually tear any of them fully down. Someone said Pierce just said Pickens just unfollowed the Steelers right now. Just dropped. I've been live, so I don't know. Let me pull up on X right now. Check my sources. These could be some people. You wonder if he was following them anyway. You got to check on that. But right here, Jordan Schultz. I believe Jordan Schultz. This is a good source, Jordan Schultz. So to me, this means that he probably did have on good authority that he was following the Steelers prior to this piece of news dropping. So this is a credible source. I will give this a reliability score of that he did actually unfollow George Pickens, the Steelers, versus he never was following them. This is right here. Here's a report on IG from Jordan Schultz. George Pickens has unfollowed the Pittsburgh Steelers. What don't we predict on this channel? When are we not cooking?
Let him cook.
Want to hear from Ron?
When are we not cooking on this channel? Now, it takes a trading partner, a dancing partner to get this trade executed. It takes a contract that needs to be announced in conjunction. It takes a physical. It takes a lot of things. What if he fails the physical because he's a head case? Who knows? But this is a reliability score, I would say, of a 9 out of 10 of being reliable, because it's coming from a guy that I think is probably dug into this a little bit. I don't have screenshots. I didn't check if George Pickens was following the Steelers. I imagine he was. I imagine at some point he was. He may have unfollowed him like a month ago and this just came out. That might come out. That might be the case. But right now, George Pickens has unfollowed the Pittsburgh Steelers. And somehow, some way, what we've said to be likely the case at some point, where this guy's saying, I am going to want out if you guys don't trade me. And they probably went to him and said, hey, quiet down, young buck. Quiet down. We're trying to trade you. You're going to ruin the momentum of the trade. You're going to ruin it. Quiet down. And he just said, okay, I'll be a good little boy, sit in the corner. And it's not happening. And he knows, what did I say? He's going to make noise before the draft. Why? Because his leverage leaves if he doesn't have the draft capital that a team would get. So the Steelers would get draft capital to use now. They're less interested in trading him once that draft capital is gone. They still might, but they want second rounder now, whatever. And so his leverage by his agent saying, Pickens, we got to strike now. We got to make noise now. If we don't make noise now, we can't get you traded on draft day. If you don't get traded on draft day, your leverage goes away, young man. We got to do this now. You think does this look like a man that's happy that DK Metcalf came and took his job? Does this look like a man that's happy that's not getting paid the bag that DK Metcalf was getting paid? Like, this is not like the Steelers are being cheap with their wide receiver money. They said, yeah, we're not signing to a long-term deal, Pickens. Hey, DK, come on over. Here's a big fat bag. Take Pickens' money. Here you go. You think he's going to stay quiet? Head case George is going to stay quiet? It was only a matter of time. We called it. We told you. Go ahead, Travis.
It's funny because, like I just said, if Shedeur falls, I think the Steelers would pick him, which I still do think they would if he falls. But it could just be that they're playing possum this whole time too. They have Rodgers signed, sealed, and delivered, and they're just saying we're not going to announce this till after the draft because we don't want, it can affect how we make deals. If people think we might be sitting on Sanders, it could make a different trade with us. There's all types of strategy that goes into it. So, they could be targeting a Buka or something for that 21 pick, and Pickens is pissed off about it, wants out.
Yeah, what's so funny is like they could be working on the deal right now. And like you said, he might just be spilling the beans a little too early by this one small sky move. Like like he just wants to wash his hands. Like, I'm leaving anyway. Let me just unfollow him real quick. This feels dirty. I'm unfollow him, and there's he's like, shh. I don't know. Yeah, and the other thing too is keep in mind. Yeah. And keep in mind that Hollywood, thank you, Pierce, for letting us know on that. We were live, and Pierce let us know with the super chat, $2 hauler. Pierce to the mother freaking moon. While I'm live, I can't see everything, that's going on. So to the moon, appreciate you. This is funny. I think it's, Hollywood Brown. Keep in mind, Hollywood Brown was traded to the Cardinals on draft day, if you remember, a couple drafts ago, and he. Under the radar, no one knew. There's no one spilling the beans on this. He had already got his physical done, so that the trade could be announced and and everything would go down, and no one knew. So it's not crazy to think the reason he's been so quiet, unexplainably quiet, for a guy that's a head case that watched DK take his money and his job and probably his girl, and Pickens is going to sit there, a head case guy is going to sit there quiet. The only reason that made sense, and I said this the other day, is maybe something he knows something's going because they came to him and told him. Maybe he's taking a physical. Maybe he's already taken a physical. We don't even know. That's why he's quiet about it. It's already done in emotion. It certainly could be the case, but wow, this news is definitely.
Yo, Smitty.
What?
Smitty. What if Pickens goes to the Patriots, man? They got Pickens and Diggs. Wouldn't that be some? Wouldn't that be something in the locker room?
Well, I'll let Travis answer whether he wants that. We've talked about this before, and we've already laughed about how you'd have a total dramatic locker room to have Pickens and Diggs, but Travis's answer, we'll see if it still stands true. So I'll go to Travis after this. Travis said even though he doesn't love Pickens' the way he carries himself in the locker room and all that, he'd still take him versus not have him. But does that stand still, Travis? Like you'd rather have him than nothing?
Yeah, I would take him or Diggs.
Hold on, Kyrie.
Yes, because Diggs isn't a wide receiver one anymore. He's better served as a co-wide receiver one, or you still want to get a young stud wide receiver in there for me, no matter what. And I would take him or J-Mo. Beggars can't be choosers,
So what do you think about
What
do you think about Jay?
I think they really want to take a lineman, and it would allow them to take Campbell with the first round pick and still get an established receiver.
What do you think about this comment by Jake, Travis? He says Vrabel ain't taking Pickens. What's your feeling on that?
I disagree because he said the other day when he was being interviewed, he said something along the lines of he can't win with 53 nice guys.
Yeah.
So he was talking about it the other day that, you're going to – I think it was when they were asking about Abdul Carter. He's had some questions about how hard he works at practice, all that. But he was saying in general, you can't have a team just full of, Boy Scouts. Like, you're going to have to deal with some of that stuff.
They went there was a reporter, or no, there was a player or a reporter, I forget who did. They went around the locker room and they're like interviewing the players and like, hey, who would you least like to date your sister? And the answer was always least like Diggs. It was constant. Yep. They went around the whole Minnesota Viking locker room, back then. Who would you least like to date your sister? Diggs. Diggs all over the place. Diggs is a nasty, he's no way. I wonder what the answer would be if you went around this New England Patriot locker room and asked that question: Pickens or Diggs? Who do you want to date your sister? I don't know. I mean, this will be a wild diva-driven mentality locker room. The thing about Pickens is he's going to want nothing but the money at this point. He's an unhappy person anyway at this juncture in his career, and he's not saying no to anything. Basically, he knows that he's at a tipping point. If he stays put and he has a bad year, he's not getting what he would have got if he just accepts the deal now. So there's no way he makes a problem or a scene, saying, oh, I don't want to play second fiddle to Diggs, or I don't want to. He's just going to take it. Diggs is older too, so this is a good long-term spot for him. But he is going to take whatever they give him, and he just wants out of Pittsburgh. He'll take less money than he wants. I think there's an opportunity always for the receiving team to overpay to get the deal done. They got to make him happy and the team happy in terms of the exchange in capital in order to get the deal done. So it usually requires the receiving team to overpay on the receiver contract so they can move that aside and say, okay, we overpaid there to make sure that is in place because we can't do this trade if the contract's not there. So overpay them, get it done. Okay, we locked it down. We're overpaying, but it's locked. Okay, now with the team, draft capital. What do you need? Second rounder, 2/3. What is it? And then once they get that done, the receiver's plenty happy, getting overpaid, usually getting more than the team that would retain him would give him. That's usually the way it works, especially with a younger player. Now, what's my assessment of fantasy football value of George Pickens in New England versus where he is right now in Pittsburgh with no quarterback, playing second fiddle to DK Metcalf? I think he has a really bad year in Pittsburgh and probably unravels. So I think it's really bad. If he goes to New England, I think it could be a 1,000-yard, 7 or 8 TD season. I think he shows a lot of promise. He's changing offenses, changing teams. There's always a little bit of a hiccup or stutter step at some point, but this will be a pretty good environment. I don't know that it gives us the elite wide receiver one numbers that we wonder if he could produce, but I think it sets him up for the future to be pretty good there because Diggs will fade away. I'd say 1,007. 1050 and 7, 1050 and 6 maybe. That would be pretty good. I mean, that's a good receiver.
Yeah. They'll get plenty of work. And the Patriots, one advantage they have, besides they can spend money and they're willing to right now, they have pick 38, which is really attractive to a lot of teams.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be the pick, bro. That would get it done. Real quickly, let me go back to Travis first after I read these super chats. This is a $5 coupon for Gump's Chicken Nuggets. Okay, thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. Jake says, I got those. What? I got those. You almost had me read this, Jake. Asked first.
Yeah.
Don't think anyone is not taking Sanders. Yeah, let's not put that in a super chat, Jake. Appreciate you, though. Jake to the moon. Rossini makes things up, says Jake in his super chat. Jake's he's definitely bringing the thunder tonight. And then Maximum Heat says, where do I go to learn about Dynasty? To the Dynasty channel that I have. You've asked this before, and I've given you the link. And I will be doing more Dynasty content. That's on me. I'm not abandoning the Dynasty channel. There's the link right there. The link's in the description of every video. I will help you. We will help you. Also, the Patreon. So go to the Patreon. I'll drop that link. That link is also in the description of the video. But you can ask. We have a Dynasty forum or a Dynasty chat room. So just go in, like right here, you see all these chat rooms. General, there's a Dynasty one, rookie section. Like, join the Patreon. $10 a month, cancel anytime. You can join, rejoin at different parts of the year. Patreon.com/The Fantasy Football Show, or click the link that I just dropped in the live chat. Here's the link one more time. Join the Dynasty, or join the Patreon, which has a Dynasty channel. And I just tried it out for the first time. We can do video live streams on Patreon. I did a video live stream earlier today. I'm going to start doing private, for the Patreon members only, live streams on the Patreon app. Video live streams. We're going to do shows on there. So get on over to the Patreon now. Link in description. Link is pinned in the live chat right this second. I'm going to right now. And then let me read the rest of these super chats real quick, Travis, and then I'll come back to you in 1 second. Let's see here. Replace pin. There we go. Okay. The rest of these super chats are as follows. Thank you, Maximum. Got a 12-man startup draft Sunday night and need to make a plan. Okay. Also, thefantasyfootballshow.com. That link is in the description as well. I have Dynasty redraft rankings, all that. It's year-round, 365. So go check that out. That link is right here. It's also in the description of every single video. So here's that link right there. Make sure you sign up. I got a lifetime membership, so you only pay once and never have to pay for content again. So Maximum, join the best place would be the Fantasy Football Show. And I've got on my homepage, and on the articles page, redraft content and Dynasty content separated and color coordinated. So join the fantasyfootballshow.com. Dynasty PPR, my Puka for Pearsall, pick 1.10 and 2.3. I don't know, Fernando. It looks like you're missing something, because you just offered Puka Nacua for the, or you're potentially giving up Puka Nacua for the 10 and a 2.3 and Pearsall. I feel like you're missing something, because there's no way in hell I'm doing that. I like Pearsall. I don't love him. I like him a lot, but this is a horrible trade. The 1.10, it could be anything. You could land it. But no, I'm not doing that. You're just giving away Puka Nacua. Absolutely not. Appreciate you asking.
Good example of when not to overvalue picks, because they're valuable and they get more valuable the closer you get to the draft. But when you have a stud, don't just throw them away for a late first.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked, though. And thank you for the super chat, but we saved your life right there. I think he's a train wreck anywhere because of attitude, says Jake regarding Pickens. There's definitely a potential of that. Like, Travis is not telling you he's absolutely elated and it's going to work out no matter what. He's just saying, I'll take it. I'll take the risk. Could hurt his value for redraft, but I could see Ravens taking running back like Henderson. Could the Steelers take Milton? Pickens trade was missed. I think that Henderson to the Ravens isn't going to happen, because I don't think the Ravens would spend that high a draft capital on him. Could they take a Scatteraboo later if he fell Could they take a Dylan Sampson? Could they take a Tootin? Yeah, absolutely. In preparation, and maybe make Henry take less carries so they can keep him healthy for the playoffs. Like, sure. But they're not going to spend the draft capital, which will be first round grade capital on Trey Henderson, I don't think. Anything's possible. Milroe to the Steelers, I hope is what happens. I think Milroe would start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they bring Aaron Rodgers in, I could see them starting Aaron Rodgers, obviously. But hopefully they just draft Milroe and they say, Aaron Rodgers, you lost your spot. Sorry, bro. But yeah, I would have liked the Milton and Pickens swap. That would have been, Travis brought that up a while ago, and that would have been the best way to handle that, but that didn't happen. All right, Travis, go ahead. I'm going to cycle everybody off the phone line, but Travis, go ahead real quick before I do that.
Yeah, I'll just say that, like, for, I don't know, a week or two now, there's been a lot from, like, local guys who are pretty tied in with the Patriots that, you know, are pretty good with their reporting. You know, they don't just put stuff out there for clicks and stuff. They've been saying that the Patriots are working on something big in terms of the trade. Now, I don't know if that means with multiple teams or what, but
yeah,
it sounds like the Patriots want to pull something big off on draft. We'll see if they can.
Dallas is potentially doing the same thing. So we'll see if Dallas or New England or Dallas, Cleveland, and New England, we're hearing a lot of rumors right now. But again, it's rumor season, smoke season. Who the hell knows? All right, let me cycle the phone line off. Let's go with Kyrie Boston first. Kyrie, final thoughts.
Sounds like the Patriots could trade for a wide receiver and maybe take Jeanty as a running back in the draft, man.
Where are they going to take Jeanty at? Do you think they're going to take him right here at the
four? The four.
You don't think they trade down or anything? To 5 or I wonder.
If they trade for a wide receiver, I think they almost definitely draft Campbell.
Yeah,
which I'm not happy with. But
I think Jeanty goes.
I think
Jeanty goes 5 or 6. What?
What? Campbell?
Yeah, Campbell sounds like they're lean right now. He does sound like they're lean.
I don't want him.
Can you imagine passing on Jeanty? Either the Giants or Patriots. What do you?
Patriots should take him.
They should, but Kyrie, we don't run the show. You know,
they could blow things up.
Yeah.
No, but one thing I want to say was Gump's thing didn't make no sense, because if he's saying that Dallas is going to take Jeanty, how is he going to also say that 5 running backs are going to go in round 1 when Dallas drafts at 10?
Gump, do you have something to say for yourself?
At 12.
Gump, do you have something to say for yourself? Kyrie Boston's calling out your Dallas call, Jeanty Dallas call, and he's also calling out your 5 running backs in round 1 call. What do you have to say to Kyrie Boston?
I just don't see how the math adds up.
Okay, well, I'm going to say one. I want to say one thing, right? You gave what's his name? You said to sound like Rocky. What was his name?
I don't know what you're talking
about.
He
started barking like a dog. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying.
Your favorite mascot. What's his name?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Denny.
Denny.
You said to talk, but yeah. So can I talk like and respond in a Forrest Gump to Kyrie?
Sure, Gump.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let me get ready. Okay, here it goes. I'm going to be a millionaire someday. So I cut that grass free for the lady next door. My sister got mad, so I bought a lawnmower. I did a spray. And then I talked to Smitty about Jeanty. And then came Kyrie Boston. He said no, but I believe it's going to happen.
Jeanty to Dallas? You saying Jeanty's going to Dallas, and then 5 other running backs are going to get taken?
Where are my red X's?
Pick 12 in the Eagles.
I think people aren't hitting the red X. They want to hear more.
There's so many running backs out there. They run like the wind.
4 more running backs going to get picked out.
Give me some red X's, please. I'm embarrassed.
There it is.
Gump, I'm embarrassed. Why am I embarrassed right now?
I don't understand the logic behind that.
Why am I embarrassed?
You guys have fun. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. You guys have fun. And
thanks, Gump.
Hey, I'm doing split pea soup for tomorrow's draft.
I picture Gumps waving to us and jumping off the boat like Forrest. See you, Gumpy. See you, Gumpy. We'll see you later.
I'm out of here, Smitty.
All right, later, Kyrie. All right, let me cycle out this. I don't know what the hell's going on here. 812 caller, I forget who it is. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, it's Joe. Back on the Pickens topic, what I think in order for Pickens to get away from like his difficult to deal with image is just basically two major factors. I think in order for that trade or to be worth it, I think there's going to have to be a well-known, like respectable winning coach in the locker room, as well as a winning franchise quarterback, like one that's solidified and already there. That's going to like command the respect. Like the Steelers, they had the coach, but not the QB, and I don't think Drake May would be able to command that necessary respect on the field and in the locker room if the Patriots traded for him. So I don't think that trade gets done with them, or at least there's an offer, but they're not going to.
I don't know. I think you're speculating a little bit. I think what you probably should be saying, I don't think you're meaning to say this, but you probably is that it won't work out if you don't have the right coach in place or something. But I think it doesn't mean it won't get done. You're acting like these teams are logical.
If he got traded to, the Ravens, for instance, hypothetically, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, I feel like George Pickens would go into it with an open mind and like, hey, I'm going to.
I know, but you hear what I'm saying? I think what you should be saying is that it will work out, have a better chance of working out with the right coach in place. Not that it won't happen. The trade could still happen, and he could go bust somewhere because they don't coach him right. You know what I mean? So I think assuming that he doesn't get traded to New England is different than saying I think it works out in New England. I think he could definitely get traded. Keep in mind, he's a little more diva to us than he probably is some of these, coaches. Like, remember, we're dialed into this more than, how many coaches hover over the news like we do? I don't even know that Pickens has as bad of a reputation around the league as he does outside of it, like to people like us. I don't know. It's not like he's caused the craziest drama so far. He's been unhappy. He's run his mouth a little bit. I think we all just are anticipating because we know better that this feels Antonio Brown in the making, So I don't know. I think teams will definitely kick the tires on it. And every coach thinks, like, what do you think? Vrabel's sitting there going, I'm not a tough coach. I can't do this. Every coach thinks they're the guy that can.
No, he is. Oh, he is. But, Vrabel would be a great coach, but I don't think Drake May. I don't think in the huddle or in the locker room, George Pickens would be like, respecting him, especially if they lose.
Why? Why though? What you don't even know who he is. You don't even know who he is yet. Like why is Drake May get no respect in the huddle? I don't understand. He hasn't really become who he's supposed to be. Yeah, are you?
No,
Steelers?
I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a Colts. No.
Colts fan?
I'm a Colts fan. I'm just saying, with Russell Wilson there and who was the other quarterback? I believe Mason Rudolph. I think.
Respect Russell Wilson.
Exactly. So, my whole point is,
But why not Drake May? What's Drake May done that makes you think he can't command a huddle or command a diva receiver? I'm just asking.
No, he can. No, he can command the huddle, but I see this. No, I know. I hear you. I'm just saying. I think it would be the same thing over again.
I'm not saying you're 100% wrong.
I don't think Drake May
obvious. Pickens was obviously frustrated throughout, his tenure at the Steelers, and it wasn't because of Coach Tomlin. I think it was because of the quarterback.
I know, but Drake May's a young, upcoming QB. I think he's gonna like you said, with Ravens, have an open mind to hey, let me help this guy. I'm going to be his only, future target here. I've got Diggs here right now. I got some, camaraderie here. Another troubled guy they're going to bond. It's like stepbrothers. He's going to play with his drum set in inappropriate ways, but it doesn't matter. They're going to become best friends at the end of the day, just like in the movie. And then, I think Pickens does have a chance to thrive target-wise. I think he gets what he wants. Right now, This is why it was so funny that people thought that he wouldn't make a stink, because like targets are one of his biggest beefs. Not getting money was his other biggest beef. He literally had one problem. Now he's got both of them, like amplified. He's now got less targets than ever. Doesn't have a quarterback, and watch his counterpart come in and just get a bag. That's like you're working in an office, right? You're working your butt off. You think, at least. He thinks he's working his butt off. Pickens really isn't, but he thinks he is. And you watch your counterpart get hired. He gets paid more. How many of you in the workplace, how many of you that work in the workplace have had new people come into the same job that you have, and the company you work for hires them at a higher salary, and they don't even come in and right size you? They just leave you at the same value you're at. You get these incremental 2 to 5% raises, and the new blood that don't even have experience with the company walk in and get paid more than you. Like, that creates such animosity. Pickens is sitting there going, I got no quarterback. I'm complaining about targets, and I'm watching the new blood come in, and he's getting my bag. He's getting the corner office with the window, gets an elevator in a bathroom in his office, and I'm sitting there in a corner cubicle. You know? I mean, come on. This is easy to see coming. This is like watching, an accident about to happen, and you know what's happening. You're like, everyone's like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. No, it's not.
That's actually a good analogy. So what about then, DK? I know DK got his, his contract and everything. He got paid, but, he's walking into a similar situation. So do you think DK, his value goes up or down?
Love DK.
As far as ADP and fantasy.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is throwing to him, or I do believe they'll have Milroe. I think they're going to draft Milroe. If they don't, there's a lot of things. A lot of things got to happen, but if they don't, we'll address.
I'm gonna come back with that same question tomorrow.
Yeah.
if they don't draft a quarterback, so.
Well, Milroe might go on day 2 though, so you might have to come back tomorrow and ask the same question, and we'll still be waiting because Milroe could go day 2, but I don't know. That's true. And honestly, I think they could draft Sanders or Milroe or Aaron Rodgers. Let me put it that way. Shedeur Sanders is a Steeler, or Milroe's a Steeler, or Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler, or one of those rookies and Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. So I think DK will be fine. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah. See you, Smitty.
All right. Rock out. Final thoughts, even though you just got here and I hadn't got to you yet. Sorry. What can I do for you, Rock out? Rock out.
Yeah, I think it's pretty ridiculous. People trying to put a label on Shedeur Sanders and be like, oh, he's going to be in the second round when the talent speaks for itself. And then also when it comes to the Steelers, what's your opinion on Rodgers taking forever making the decision?
I can't pretend to know what Aaron Rodgers is going through, bro. There's someone yesterday that tried to say that he's going through something, right now, but he's not. His inner circle is, apparently. He's in a long-term relationship. I imagine it has something to do with it. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe it's possible he wants to see, like Kirk Cousins, what happens with the draft, and then he decides if he's coming in to play. Because I think he's afraid that if he goes to the Steelers, they still draft a Milroe or a Sanders. And I don't think he wants to commit to this long endeavor that's so much harder every year he gets older unless he knows what's up. I think that's part of it. But I think he's also, I think he just wants he wants to see what team needs him. Because if the draft is over, he can assess it like Kirk Cousins and go, what team doesn't have a quarterback for sure? He thinks he can do it. I want to go in and smash all year long. I don't want to go in and get replaced. He doesn't mind mentoring somebody, but maybe that's actually not that true. Maybe he does care about not mentoring somebody. We'll see. I have no idea. I can't pretend.
Is there any way they're just not announcing it, waiting till after the draft?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. The fact that Tomlin, when asked, is your draft strategy impacted by Aaron Rodgers' decision? instead of saying, look, Aaron Rodgers is not a part of this team, we're going to assume he's not. You know, if we cross that bridge and opportunity presents itself, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. But no, he actually said, like, almost committing to that they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers because they want him. Like, that's not affecting our decision. Instead of saying he's not a part of this team. Like, Tomlin's normally the kind of guy to say that. So they're very much waiting on bated breath, but we'll see. All right, rock out. Anything else?
No, that's about it. I'll catch you later.
Yeah, call him tonight, man. Appreciate you. Sorry you were waiting so long. Okay, rock out. Last question. Pickens, where's he go? Where's he at next year? Last question.
Curveball. He's going to the Raiders.
Raiders. Woo! The Raiders. Wow.
Right.
That
yeah.
could happen. All right, rock out. Appreciate you. Later, bro. Call tonight. 901 caller, what was your final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts, man. Just wanted to get your opinion on what the tight end landscape is going to look like. What's your favorite tight end landscape, essentially combination landing spot? Like, who you think is going to be the best out of the new tight ends this season?
Tyler Warren, I think, will be better than Loveland. I'm not saying Loveland's bad. I don't understand why everyone loves Loveland so much. But Warren.
What's your favorite landing spot?
Warren to the Jets or Jaylen Warren to, let's see here. Honestly, the Falcons, and then they trade Kyle Pitts. Get him out of there. I start over. Throw him to someone else. I like Kyle Pitts a little bit in fantasy. I won't lie. Like, I draft him quite a bit because he's such a value. But if I could swap him out for Tyler Warren, who can literally run all over the field, and you design stuff for him like a wide receiver. I love to see Penix Jr. get a, for sure, better replacement than a disappointing, taking too long to bloom and blossom, and we don't know what's even there anymore. And you get something back. Like, that would be pretty good. I already feel like the Falcons are in a pretty good spot. I think they could afford to take Tyler Warren and make this trade. I think it would make a whole lot of sense for the Falcons to do that. As far as another landing spot, I think, honestly, I'd love to see one of them in Cincinnati, but I don't know if they're interested in that anymore after re-signing, what's his name?
Gesicki.
Yeah, Gesicki. I think
keep talking about Chicago, but I think they're going running back. I
mean, as much as they love Ertz, and they've already signed like another tight. I forget the other tight end's name that they signed. Huh? No, they drafted him. The other tight end they just signed.
Ben Sinnott.
No, not Ben Sinnott. They drafted Ben Sinnott. It's not Ben Sinnott. Who was the other one, Travis?
Bates. They re-signed him.
Yeah. So they re-signed Bates. They re-signed Ertz. They've got Ben Sinnott sitting there. But I still would rather them have Tyler Warren. I think you don't think about those trivial, decisions you made lower down. You just go ahead and attack it. I think.
Travis. Is this Travis? Oh, every time I call, Travis is on here. Travis, it's Denny. How you doing, buddy?
Denny. Is that what I should sound like, supposedly?
Yeah, you kind of sound like.
Here, you know what? Fair is fair. Fair is fair. Travis, can you do a Denny impersonation?
Go ahead.
I'm not good with impersonations, but you can imagine.
Here, I'll do it.
Oh, I kind of like that one. Hey, it's Travis, and I don't know how my gonna do next year. I'm from Cape Cod, and I don't even know what's going. Oh, come on, do me, Travis, do me.
I already did it. It's that's Denny. That's Smitty sucks. All right, Denny, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Appreciate you.
All right, hey, Smitty just called to say hello, and Travis called to say hello to you.
Denny, we'll see you later, pal. Call him tonight, Denny.
Later on.
Call him tonight, all right? Later.
Okay.
OEG, it's right on the screen. He's like, unfollowed George Pickens in capital letters, unfollowed the Pittsburgh Steelers on social media. It's like literally right on the screen. Appreciate you though, OEG. Coming in strong. Late to the party. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what he's saying about Travis's impersonation. I don't know what Denny's doing. It didn't sound like Travis to me.
I don't know.
All right, Travis, final thoughts.
He thinks it does. Yeah, I mean, actually, the Raiders aren't the craziest spot for Pickens because they have pick 37. The Patriots have pick 38. And if the Steelers want Milrow, they're going to need to get a second rounder probably, unless they're going to reach on him. So that those spots make sense. Because, I don't see them taking Milrow in the first. I don't think. Maybe they do. And otherwise, they'll miss out because someone else will take him in the second, I think.
Yeah. All right, Travis, we'll see you later tonight.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Later. 12-team rookie draft, third round, anything decent wide receiver-wise. I'll be honest with you, Thomas, we got to wait. Trying to project that before landing spots is just a waste of time because of the jostling around of values. 22-month membership from Jake, who says, I know as a Jets fan, 90% are just degenerates. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jake's a little negative tonight on a lot of things, but still appreciate him dropping a super chat earlier. Epic meltdowns and celebrations are expected, says Kentucky. We got Big Bank said, is Gump always... no, I don't think Gump is on Grandpa's cough medicine. And then 18-month membership from Call Your Boy Loud. Call Your Boy, appreciate you. Thank you for my super chats tonight. You guys are unbelievable. You're amazing. You keep the lights on. You are the show. Call Your Boy Loud with the $20 holler. BBQ has been dropping fire all night. BBQ dropped 50 gifted memberships and got a drone flight. Call Your Boy Loud got a drone flight. Hey, BBQ, you still there? I might implement this. I'm not positive. But we might be doing something a little unusual. I told everybody about this a little bit yesterday, but we're probably doing something a little unusual. You remember my scooter rides, my scooter live streams? It was a really, 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 really requested live stream. Like, I still get to this day, once every couple weeks, somebody says, hey, when are you doing another scooter live stream? This is before some of your time. I would go on a scooter. I'd rent a scooter at like a mall somewhere or on a, outdoor, mall or area. And I'd, you rent the scooter and you ride it around. And I'd do a live stream Q&A session on the scooter while I was driving as fast as I could. Almost crashed like every time. It was, for whatever reason, it was everyone's favorite live stream. And everybody wants it constantly. I think I'm going to probably get one of these for the show. And I think we're going to do a lot of live streaming around this bad boy. And I think we're going to potentially take this to the streets, do a Q&A session, whatever place I end up popping over to. And we may even, on $100 haulers, interrupt the show on the phone, because I can tap into my own live stream, from my phone remotely video, and take a lap around the neighborhood on $100 live streams during any show. I think it's time we upgrade some of the toys, and we always do upgrade. Like, we continue to innovate. Nobody innovates like this channel. But I'm pretty sure that we need one of these bad boys for the brand. So we're working out the details right now. This is an unbelievable go get food vehicle anyway. But to be a big part of the show, it seems like an inevitable thing at this point. So stay tuned for more on this information. I know a guy like BBQ is going to get a kick out of this, and it's going to be amazing. Thank you. Appreciate you, Keith. But get ready for more on this. This will probably become the Fantasy Football Show Batmobile very, very soon, and live streams on it to come. I might live stream while we're doing it live. Okay. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tonight. And don't forget, we're live all day during the draft tomorrow in about an hour or so beforehand. See you all on the Patreon. I'll be over on the Patreon. Go to the link that's pinned in the live chat right now. The link's also in the description of the video if you're watching a replay. $10 a month, cancel anytime, gets you a live chat, 365, 24/7 live chat room where I go live and do video shows now. It's a new feature inside there. So do it live. Appreciate you all. See you all tonight. Let me know what you think about the Riker, the Batmobile.